Continuing with rounding of place value, here's what we've got. Now we're going to the thousands place. And it doesn't have a THS, so I know it's a whole number, so it's the left of the decimal. Ones place tells me where the decimal point is, or the decimal tells me where the ones place is. Tens, hundreds, and this is the thousands. So I'm going to look to the right to know what to do. The 6 tells me to add 1. So all the numbers to the left are going to stay the same. 6 tells the 1 to add 1, and then the rest of those numbers become zeros. Now I don't need to put those there because it's the same. I can say 0 ten thousandths, or I can say nothing, and it's the same thing. So 32,371,691 and 874 ten thousandths when rounded to the thousands place is 32,372,000. Now, I bet you're wondering, gosh, why do I have to make these zeros, but I don't have to add those? Because these are whole numbers. Okay, these are important. If I didn't put these 3 zeros there, I would just have 32,372 instead of 32 million, which is a really big difference. Let's look at number 10. We are rounding number 10 to the ones place. Again, ones place right next to the decimal point. Find the decimal point, find the ones place, not a problem. So I'm going to look to the right. The 0, does that tell me to add 1 or stay the same? And if you said stay the same, you were correct. So I'm copying everything down here just the way it is, and that's it. That's it for number 10. Moving on to number 11, we're going to find the sum or difference. Now remember, what is the most important thing here? Make sure that my place values are all lined up. Okay. And here's the decimal point. So I've got 1 to the right and 2 to the left. Now the second most important thing is I pay attention to the sign, subtraction. Now I've got this empty space right here. I'm going to go ahead and fill that in with a 0. Why? Habits. That's why. Because that way, just make sure that you have the same digits to the right of the decimal point. That way you don't forget anything. So 3 minus 0 is 3. Can't do 0 minus 2, so I need to borrow. That becomes a 10. That's a 3, by the way. Bring my decimal point straight down again. I can't do that, so I need to borrow. 6, and then 20 minus 9 is 11. So my answer is 116 and 83 hundredths. Number 12. Again, 12 is a subtraction problem. So 146 and 7 tenths minus 34 and 19 hundredths. Now remember the last problem, how I said make sure that you put those zeros there? Why 0? Because what's here right now? Nothing. And what is 0 worth? That's correct. Nothing. So there's a difference. Because some of you think, oh, there's nothing up there, I can just bring down the 9. Not the case. Have to put a 0 there because I can't do 0 minus 9. So I need to borrow. Two, 1, 1. 112 and 51 hundredths. Okay. Next problem. We have 37 and 51 hundredths plus 419, is that 32? 419. So you notice how I paid attention to where the decimal point went first and then wrote the problem that way. And again, this is an addition. So I put my addition sign here and remember add. 3, 8, bring the decimal point down. That's 16, so 6 ones and 1 10. That's 5, and that is a 4. So 456 and 83 hundredths. Moving along to number 14, last but not least, we have 587 and 19 hundredths plus 54 and 9 tenths. And I'm going to put a 0 there and make it 90 hundredths. Exact same thing. 9 tenths, 90 hundredths. 9 dimes, 90 pennies, same value. So 9 plus 0 is 9. So 9 hundredths and 0 hundredths is 9. 1/10 and 9 tenths gives me 10 tenths. So there's my 0. And I carry the 1 whole on over. So 1, 8, and 4 gives me 13 ones. So put down 3, and I carry the 110. And that gives me 11 tens. So 110 and 100. So 58 in 19 hundredths plus 54 in 9 d hundredths gives me 113 and 9 hundredths. Thank you, and I hope you had a great math day for your first E-Day.